We are moving into chapter 6, and the first section is on polynomials. And we're going to take a few days to break down this section and look at the different types of polynomials. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is a monomial. And a monomial is just a number or a product of numbers and variables with whole number exponents. So in other words, it's one term or one chunk. There's no subtraction or no addition signs in it. So just one piece. It's not broken up. And so I have an example. X is a monomial. 4 times t times s, negative 1/2 f to the 5th. We're not adding or subtracting anything. They're just one piece, one term, one chunk, however you want to talk, or however we want to say that. Then a polynomial, which is what this whole section is about, is a monomial or the sum or difference of monomials. So polynomials can have one chunk, two chunks, three chunks, four chunks, and so on, terms as well instead of chunks. It does not matter how many pieces it has. So I have some examples there. The only thing there, well, I shouldn't say the only thing, there's a few things that matter. So not polynomials, I want to focus right here. You can't have x as an exponent. That is not okay. You cannot have absolute value. You can't have your variable in the denominator. You can't have a radical symbol. And you can't have a decimal or fraction exponent. So those are the few rules, but everything else would be considered a polynomial. So no variable as an exponent, no absolute value, no variable in the denominator, no radical symbol, and no decimals as exponents. Okay. So now the degree of monomials is the sum of the exponents of the variables. So exponents of variables. So we're only looking at the variables. So here, the degree of x to the 4th is just 4. This one is 12. There's no variable, so there's no exponent. So this is 0. Has to have a variable. This one has an a and a b. A is 2, b is 1, so we would add those together. The degree of this one would be 3. And then this one, x is 3, y is 4, and z is 1. Add those together, we get 8. So the degree of that monomial is 8. A binomial is a polynomial with 2 terms. So only 2 pieces, 2 terms, 2 chunks. That's considered a binomial. A trinomial is the same thing, only it has 3 terms, 3 pieces, 3 chunks. Monomial, binomial, trinomial. Monomial's 1, binomial's 2, and trinomial has 3 terms. Now classifying them by the degrees. So if you find, here's the chart where the degrees 0 to 5 are given. So if you have the degree of 0, that's called a constant. That's just a regular number. And then 1, the exponent is just a 1. That's called linear. 2 is quadratic. 3 is cubic, and so on. And there's an example over here on the right-hand side where the highest degree, the highest term, the degree, the largest degree of each term, that is your degree that you're classifying by. So I'll do an example here. It says rewrite each polynomial in standard form, then identify the leading coefficient, degree, and number of terms, and then name the polynomial. So standard form simply means to rewrite it highest degree to lowest degree. So we have 3, we have 1, and we have 0. So 3 goes first. It's a positive 4x to the 3rd. Next is the 1. It's a positive 2x. And then the 0 is negative 1. The leading coefficient is, after we put it in that order, the leading coefficient is the coefficient out front of the first term. So this one is a 4. The 4 is out front. Then the degree, we just put them in order from highest exponent to lowest. So the degree is the first exponent, the first term's degree, which is 3. It's the highest exponent. And then terms, how many terms are there? There's 3 different terms. And then its name. So if we go back up here, the degree was 3. If we go to our chart, 3 is called cubic. And then the number of terms is 3, and a 3-termed polynomial is called a trinomial. And then one last example here, we have to put it in order. This is 3, a 1, a 5, and a 0. So the 5 would go first, so x to the 5th. Then the 3, positive 7x to the 3rd. Then the 1 is a negative 11x. And then the 0, which is negative 2. The leading coefficient is the number out front. There's no number in front of that x, so it's a 1. The degree, the largest exponent is 5. The number of terms, it has 4 terms. And then its name. It has a degree of 5, so go back up here to the chart. That's quintic. And then the number of terms is 4. We didn't talk about a specific name for a 4 term, so it's a polynomial. Anything more than 3 we'll just call a polynomial. And you could also add with 4 terms if you wanted to. So quintic polynomial has a degree of 5 and has 4 terms.